Hello YouTube, ZiggyNo back with Sports Cards Daily. Today is December 28th, and on this day in 1975, the Hail Mary. 32 seconds left in the playoff game. Cowboys, Staubach, touchdown pass, I think it was Drew Peterson, to defeat the Minnesota Vikings, and the Hail Mary play is born. You know, it's funny, I that's not the Hail Mary I remember. I thought it was Flutie in that Boston College game, but hey, you learn something new every day. News and chatter. Study on sports cards. Really interesting. I'll share with you. Article I found. A CNBC video on YouTube about sports cards. Again, great video. Very interesting. A few days old, maybe a week or two. Katie rookie cards heat up. Another article to share. Today in the hobby, baseball card collector, investor, dealer is like clockwork. Should be dropping the Q&A or some sports knowledge on you today. Slapstox live at 5 or 6 o'clock today. I'm always looking forward to the live, the chat, the conversations, the lessons learned, etc. Rye Dog normally does his Monday minor league baseball, so we'll see if that's back today or not. Looking forward to that. What did you miss yesterday? Well, we had weekly sports card update from Neo, Northeast Ohio. Topps Chrome Sapphire Soccer update, which I really appreciate because I kind of was trying to put the pieces together myself. Zombie Collection TTM conversation. She collects and rips Prism cards. Flipping on Star Stock. A sports card talk with Sasha T. And Sunday hobby talk. Carlos, because I'm Carlos. Really great information. And let me just say real quickly, if you haven't already, please take a moment, subscribe, comment. I'd love your feedback, and I'd really love your comments. And what I mean by that is, I listened to Carlos' show, and they started talking a little bit about my show on it, and I really was honored that they even mentioned it, and it gave me some thoughts about, why do I do this? Why do I select the people I select in these videos? And I'm hoping you guys, I'm hoping to share more of that with you in the future. But I will say this, the goal is really to bring attention to stuff in the hobby that I think might be of interest to you. I want to make sure the information's fresh. I try not to pitch stuff to you, so I try not to provide channels that are selling stuff. But if it's informational and they're selling, I'm going to mention it to you, and I'll let you know, hey, they're selling, and I'll tell you if I'm using it or not, right? So hopefully this is what someone called it the TMZ of sports cards. I don't want to be the TMZ of sports cards because it's not about the flash. I'm not chasing, the biggest breaks or the biggest card or, I'm not card porn here. I love the channel. But I'm really trying to give you kind of a newspaper snapshot. But it is, as Carlos mentions, it is an editorialized view of the hobby. Right? And I think that's a very fair comment. So again, your comments, your feedback, your suggestions will help drive my editorial view on the hobby. Anyway, let's get into the content. And hopefully that made some sense, everybody. Sports Card Collectors Daily, great channel or great show page I use all the time. Love the articles here. This is a great one on millennials and Gen Zs falling into sports cards, crunching the numbers to talk about who did this whistle, who did the report. Here's some interesting comments. They got some feedback. 81% have had time to spend because of COVID, right? 4 or 5 love watching the videos. 4 or 5, that's pretty high. Same here, 80%. See, those are actually the same number, 4 or 5, 4 or 5, and that's 3 of 4. Almost. I've spent money in the hobby in the last few months. See, there's probably more, but their wife was watching, or maybe their wife did it. Really good insight here about why sports cards over cartoons, video games, other nostalgia. I thought this is pretty interesting. Some top comments here about DJ Ski, who I really think is building kind of a sports card empire, multimedia empire there. The goal. Anyway, check out the article. I thought it was very interesting. Hopefully you find it as an interesting read. Next up was a great video from CNBC on sports cards. And this, I guess it was out a few days ago. Someone brought it to my attention on Facebook group. Really, really interesting. I picked up a few things. Nat Turner is on this. He does not talk about the PSA acquisition. He talks about other things in the hobby. So this was probably recorded before that, or maybe he didn't want to comment about it. Rich Layton from Layton Sports is on here, Breaker. And then Lior, which I've heard about Alt. This was pretty interesting because he basically says that Alt is the one who bought 2 of the most expensive sports cards, the $1.8 million LeBron and the $1 million Giannis. And he shows those cards. And he shows another card they bought. They bought the Superfractor Bowman Chrome Trout, not the auto, just the card, the Super from 2011 Bowman. Pretty interesting. Did you know that? I didn't know that, but alt has it. And I've heard about alt. I've heard about alt from some other people. So keep alt in your mind. I'm trying to understand how alt's going to affect everything, but a lot of money in alt. And here's another thing about alt. They've got a fund you can get involved in. And you can't directly, I think investors can get involved in, but there's a fund he talks about in this. So great video to watch. KD rookie cards are heating up. No shocker, right? I mean, KD's back. They're playing well. They lost last night. And, more importantly, Gary Vee said, hey, go get these cards, man. So, yeah, KD is heating up. And I think a lot of people kind of projected that. I kind of suspected that myself. Had stashed some KD cards away. So we'll see how that goes. Next up, Northeast Ohio Sports Cards does a weekly update. Talks about the sports card market. Always enjoy this. It's short to sweet and to the point. He goes over some numbers with you on market movers, over like John Morant is in many different places as far as which cards are hot. He also talks about why Prism. I mean, Prism is a high volume transaction card, holds value and it sells fast. I think that's why Prism's a great card to PC, chase after, and hold. Next up is Aaron over at Slapstox. Talks about Sapphire. So Sapphire was released to the Montgomery Club members on the 14th. Apparently on the 15th, it looks like it was released to the general public in Europe on the UK site. Never made it to the U.S. market. Was never generally released to the U.S. market and sold out pretty quickly. And Aaron can talk about some more things about that product, that set, and why it's a good product to go chase after. Next up, yesterday I was listening on Zombie Collector. Had a conversation with a couple of gentlemen talking about TTMs through the mail. What was really interesting to me again is how they talk about the discrepancy in price, where you can go to a show and pay $50 for an autograph, or if you go through the mail, you might pay $25 for an autograph. Or if you meet the guy at a private signing, you might pay $30 an autograph. Talked about the resale market for these autographs. It was just a really good conversation to kind of listen into. So really appreciate Zombie Collector and the other gentlemen in talking about through the mail autographs. Next up was She Collects and She Rips. This is a great video here, Prism retail break. And I'll be honest, when I saw she was going to break the retail box, I was like, oh no, this is going to be a tough video. This stuff can be brutal. But she actually pulls a Ja, a Kobe, a Zion, a base Zion. She didn't pull any refractors or anything special, and no autos or anything special, but on the base card, she slaughtered it, killed it, did very well in this box. And it was just fun to watch her and her friends ripping open and getting excited about this box. Again, there's not a lot of women in the hobby, so I'm very supportive of that, but I also like her approach. I've also learned a lot about her watching her channel, so I definitely want to give her a shout out. So why did I pick her? I editorialized. I like her channel. I like the fact she's a woman collecting, and I like her sharing her journey with us. Flipping on Star Stock. Why did I pick this one? Well, I love what Trike 415 is doing. I also like what Star Stock's doing. He's doing this challenge where he's trying to build his portfolio. He takes feedback from the audience on what should I buy, what should I sell. Really enjoyed this journey with him. And again, I really like the content he's putting out. So he even says himself, he's not trying to be pitchy. He's just trying to teach you and share that journey on sports cards. Next up, Sasha T. I say Sasha T is one of my favorites. He has Michael Coleman on Sports Card Talk. If you want to talk about somebody who's in the hustle, who is an investor in the hobby, man, Sasha T is the man. And I want to say I realize he's still not very active in the Star Stock Challenge, which I am going to thankfully, I'm not going to poke that bear. You're not going to see me go over to Sasha T and go, hey man, when are you getting the Star Stock Challenge? I don't want him to move at all. Just keep the $500 account there and don't move at all, man. Stay still, Sasha T. But I really do love his channel. Love his card talk. He's flipping big cards, or lots of cards in big volume, and I'm always learning and enjoying his hustle. Next up, again, listening last night on Hobby Talk with Carlos, and they were talking about content in the hobby and the rise of content. And my channel came up, and I think somebody mentioned, I was kind of the TMZ of the hobby, and Carlos made a comment. I kind of editorialize the channels I highlight, and I listened in. I learned a lot. I will say when I started the channel, my goal was, look, I wanted to give people an update. As I was watching YouTube, I was like, man, there's so much good stuff going on out there. And I thought it was kind of like a talk soup, like I was going to make, not a parody, but just kind of break down all the channels. And I realized that's hard to do. There's so many. Like I have 200 channels I subscribe to. But what I did want to do is give something of value. I realized there's a lot of content out there that has value that people never get their eyes on, right? So I want to look at those smaller channels and get people to look at the breakdown on a Prism. If they come up with a Prism print run estimate, or someone has an exclusive video to talking to a retailer or something. I want to get that content out there. I also wanted to always give a shout out and help other channels and be positive. I want to be positive. In the beginning, I didn't want to support channels who were trying to sell stuff, but I realized everybody's selling something, whether it's a Patreon channel or a subscription or they're advertising. they've all got something they're kind of pitching, and I'm not going to hate people for doing that. I mean, everybody's got their hustle, and I appreciate that. I will say there are some channels that I think are all about pushing their product or themselves, and I'm not as supportive of those, and you probably won't see me talk about those channels as much on my channel. If they come up with good content that I think is valuable, I definitely will include it. But yeah, I will editorially exclude hype from channels. I will pick hype from small people, right? I'll take She Collects tonight and share her video of her opening up her box of Prism because I think it's neat. Although I'll exclude big guys who rip boxes all day long, just because, I don't know, it's just not as exciting to me. So take it for what it is. And again, I look forward to your comments, your feedback. Who else should I include? Who am I leaving out? What other content? You know what I tell you I'm really lacking is good articles. The real good source I have right now is Sports Collectors Daily, Card Ladder, and Sports Card Investor. Both have articles time to time, but not as regularly as I'd like. So if you have any good articles out there, sources, blogs, I do follow the Panini blog. I haven't seen much from Topps or Upper Deck. I guess I should follow some more stuff from Upper Deck, but always looking to add content. And again, I really want this show. This show's driven for me and the people who are watching it, right? I want to have an influence, a voice to talk to you, and I want to be open and influential in a positive way. And I also want to do it without charging you anything. I don't plan to have any subscriptions. I also plan to continue to run this commercial free. I don't see a reason to nickel and dime me with commercials so I can buy an extra hobby box every month. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you very much for subscribing. We're coming into the end of 2020. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to 2021. I'm trying to get my live show ready for the weekend. Learning a lot there. Just anyway, have a great day.